Welcome to Gateline, presented by CUTV. I'm Kaylee Fizel.
And I'm Austin Allen, and these are today's stories.
On October 25th, former Secretary of State and Senator from New York, Hillary Clinton, came to speak to the Colgate community. Although she was eloquent and concise, many students believed that the subject matter was far too broad. As one student pointed out, she continuously emphasized the importance of American leadership but failed to offer specific predictions of how this role may evolve over time. Although the Colgate community was genuinely enthusiastic about Clinton's visit, her presence brought an overwhelming flood of people into Hamilton. What normally would have been a quick stop to Hamilton Whole Foods took almost an hour. But fortunately, we only had to endure the madness for one weekend, and overall, many perceived it as a success.
On Tuesday, November 8th, The Guardian reported that Australian officials declared Katy Perry's newest album, Prison, a biosecurity concern. The deluxe version of Perry's junior effort contains seed paper, which fans are urged to plant and spread the light. Australians are very protective of their country when it comes to invasive species due to its unique ecosystems. However, Australia is just as guilty at sending out invasive species to other countries. We've had to sit through all of Gerard Butler's terrible rom-coms, better known as romantic comedies, Playing for Keeps, Dear Frankie, The Ugly Truth, P.S. I Love You, and who could forget The Bounty Hunter? In addition, who could forget the pandemic outbreak of Nicole Kidman in the early 2000s?
Last week, the Colgate Budget Allocation Committee, better known as the BAC, approved the Aviation Club's request to fund the purchase of a blimp with Colgate money. The BAC, a committee that is typically hard to win over, unanimously supported the idea of buying a blimp to fly around. So, Dad, rest assured, the tuition money is going to great use.
Gizmodo reported on Thursday, November 7th, that Mexican Coke is switching from cane sugar to high fructose corn syrup in order to cut costs after the Mexican government approved a tax of 1 peso per liter on soda sold. While this tax is meant to help decrease obesity in a country where 70% of its people are overweight, switching to high fructose corn syrup could negate the tax's intended purpose. Bloomberg reported in January that fructose, quote, may contribute to weight gain and obesity because it has minimal effects on brain regions that control appetite. This crisis, however, has been averted for some, as this change is specific to Mexico, and Mexican Coke, distributed in the United States, will contain cane sugar. Coca-Cola has announced that Mexican Coke distributed in the US will now be called Healthy Coke. Not the funniest joke I've done.
In other news, the BAC has yet to agree to fund a proposed Moe's Mexican Grill on campus, a popular chain restaurant that would provide students with delicious food. But don't worry, BAC. I'm sure students prefer money going into a blimp that they'll probably never touch or see over constant access to tasty burritos that won't take an hour to get.
Here's Kelsey Soderberg with the sports.
The Colgate Raider football team continued their winning streak when they defeated the Georgetown Hoyas 34-14 on the road. And by the third pass of the game, Colgate senior quarterback Gavin McCarney entered into a prestigious group of Raider football alumni when he became the third player to pass for 5,000 yards and rush for 2,500 yards in a career. With a sizable lead after the first half, the Raiders looked to close it out strong, and they ultimately did, keeping the Hoyas to a single score in the second half. This win puts them atop the Patriot League standings as they head into the final stretch of the season. After returning to Hamilton this week to face Bucknell and Lafayette, the Raiders volleyball team remains atop the Patriot League standings after sweeping both teams 3-0. On Saturday, the annual Dig Pink game occurred, raising awareness for breast cancer, in which the team played Lafayette. The match was a full team effort where all 16 players got time on the court, leading to their 6th straight win. And the third-seeded women's soccer team edged their way into the Patriot League semifinals in dramatic fashion. When regulation time ended, the squad was held to a scoreless draw with Bucknell. And after 2 overtime periods passed, they went into penalty kicks, fighting to keep their season alive. Lexi Pena-Pinto scored on Colgate's 5th penalty kick attempt, ending the game with a 5-4 victory for the Raiders. Now back to you.
Thank you for watching Gateline, presented by CUTV. I'm Austin Allen.
And I'm Kaylee Fizel. Have a great night.